The room erupted with laughter the second Zoe James stepped onto the dojo mat for her very first karate class. Yo, is she lost? This isn't ballet class. Tyler snorted, nudging his friend Jacob, who doubled over in laughter. Zoe paused for a moment. Her small fists clenched by her side. She said nothing, just walked forward, eyes focused, as her heart beat loudly in her chest. She was 9 years old. The youngest in the room. The only black girl in the class. And in that oversized karate gi that barely clung to her tiny shoulders, she looked like easy prey. But she wasn't here to play. The dojo smelled of sweat, rubber mats, and echoing grunts. The walls were lined with belts of every color, pictures of grandmasters, and motivational quotes. But nothing on the wall could prepare Zoe for the looks, the sideways glances, the raised eyebrows, the whispered jokes. From the moment she joined, she was treated like a joke. She can barely lift her leg, Jacob muttered under his breath. Bet she joined 'cause she watched Kung Fu Panda once, said another boy. Zoe had always been quiet. A bookworm. A soft-spoken girl who never liked loud noises or big crowds. But after a girl at her school shoved her into a locker and no one helped, not even the teachers, something changed. That night, her mom Monica sat beside her as they ate dinner. Zoe hadn't touched her food. Baby, what's wrong? Zoe finally whispered, I'm tired of being afraid. I want to learn how to fight back. Not just with fists, with strength. So Monica signed her up for a karate class. And now here she was, standing in the middle of a storm of laughter. The first few weeks were brutal. Her kicks were weak. Her balance was off. Even her stances looked awkward. Every mistake was met with giggles from the older boys. Sometimes, Tyler would accidentally bump into her too hard during drills. Jacob would whisper insults when the instructor wasn't watching. Zoe would come home with bruises. Not just on her body, but deep in her spirit. Some days, she'd lie on her bed and stare at the ceiling, wondering if she belonged anywhere. But every time she wanted to quit, she remembered that locker. That echoing slam. That laughter in the hallway. She couldn't quit. She wouldn't. So she trained harder. When others were chatting after class, Zoe stayed behind to perfect her form. At home, she used old couch cushions as punching bags. She practiced kata in the backyard, rain or shine. Her mom watched from the window with tears in her eyes. Don't stop, she would whisper to herself. They're going to see you one day, baby. Don't stop, she would whisper to herself. They're going to see you one day, baby. One afternoon, after watching her nail a perfect spin kick, her instructor, Mr. Coleman, called her aside. You have something most kids don't, Zoe, he said. Like what? She asked, still catching her breath. Guts, he smiled. You don't just fight with your body. You fight with your heart. Zoe felt a flicker of belief. Small. But real. A month later came the dojo's challenge day. It was a friendly in-class tournament where students would spar against each other in front of parents and peers. It wasn't official, no trophies, but the bragging rights were everything. When Zoe's name was called, the room stilled. She was to face Jacob in the first round. Jacob grinned, stepping onto the mat. Try not to cry, little girl. Zoe bowed respectfully. Her heart pounded, but this time, it wasn't from fear. It was from the fire that had been building for weeks. Begin! Mr. Coleman called. Jacob lunged with a wild punch. Zoe dodged it like water. Before he could blink, she blocked his second swing, stepped forward, and landed a precise front kick straight to his gut. Jacob stumbled back, winded. Tyler gasped. Jacob charged again, but Zoe twisted, dropped to the ground, and swept his leg from under him. He hit the mat with a thud that echoed through the dojo. Winner, Zoe, Mr. Coleman declared. The room was silent. Then a few claps. Then more. Tyler's face turned red as Zoe walked off the mat. His turn was next. Let's go, Mr. Coleman said. Tyler faced Zoe in the next round, but the arrogance in his eyes was gone. He hesitated. When he attacked, Zoe moved like lightning, sidestep, block, strike. In under 40 seconds, he was on the ground, groaning. Zoe didn't smile. She didn't taunt. She simply bowed again. Respectfully. Quietly. Powerfully. The dojo erupted with applause. For the first time, they weren't laughing at her, they were in awe of her. After class, Tyler approached her. I was wrong, he mumbled. You're really good. Zoe looked at him for a long moment. Thanks, she said simply. But I didn't do it for you. Mr. Coleman handed her a red leadership armband. You earned this, he said. You're not just a fighter, Zoe. You're an example. Zoe held it tight as she walked out of the dojo. The sun was setting, painting the sky in gold and orange. Her mom was waiting by the car. They stopped laughing today, Zoe said softly. Monica smiled, eyes shining. No, baby. They didn't stop laughing. You made them listen.